Hi, welcome to the Quantum Creativity Show. I'm your host, Santari Green, broadcasting to you from Burgess Hill in the UK, with my co-host, Cezarina Trone, broadcasting from Cincinnati, Ohio. Welcome back to another edition of the show, Cezarina.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thrilled about this one.
Yes, well, summer has definitely come. And in just over a week's time, we'll both be in Italy, back at that mystical Tuscany retreat villa in just south of Florence. And we'll be doing things that, well, we're going to share what we'll be doing later on in the show. But first, there's an introduction. I came across a post on Facebook about an Italian teacher who had given some assignments to his students which were a little bit different than usual reading and homework assignments. And he specifically set them for people to go outside and to enjoy life. And this really is what he said. He said it's a prescription for how to live an inspired life, to tell the students that in the next few months they should take time to admire a sunrise, to dream about the future, and to read, because reading is the best form of rebellion that you have. And he says that, I think that the radiance of summer, especially during adolescence, could have a special spiritual influence. So we've just been having a chat before the show about the different assignments that he set. So perhaps you could just say, what are your favorites from that list?
Yes, I have the list here as well. And it's just absolutely the whole list, like for, I believe, 15 of them. And it might as well be like a happiness coaching list, you know, how to coach yourself to be happy. Because when I read it, I just smiled from my mouth to my ears, you know. So I know it doesn't show well, I try. But it says, sometimes in the morning, go take a walk along the seashore completely alone. And just reading that when I read it for the first time, it says, look at the way sunlight is reflected on the water and think about the things you love the most in your life. Be happy. So again, it's teaching everyone to stop for a moment, be very present in their physical body with their senses, and really bring in the beauty of who they are into every cell. And then from that moment on, anchor it into everything they experience. So to me, just being, you know, I don't have a seashore here where I live. I don't have a body of water nearby, and I love water. So it took me directly into my dream of connection with water, which is always super, super magical for me to be near the water. So all I had to do is read those words, close my eyes, or just instantly transported me. And again, our Tuscany trip is coming up. We're at the beginning of July in about 9 days. So it's literally in a week's time, a little over a week, we will be in this magical, mystical place of light, La Chiara di Prumiano, with a group of wonderful co-creators and adventurers and magicians. And we will be exploring the new creations of life and what can be done, as we did last year, and even more, because our group has expanded this year, so we're actually going to be expanding on the work as well. So one of the things we have decided and felt that we should do this summer, it's different than last summer, is go on a day trip to the seaside, in the seaside Tuscany, Capalbio area. And I was just last night looking again at the pictures, and you know, it took me there again. It took me ahead of myself, which I know sometimes it's just the excitement of a child, the inner child. But this, you know, again, another opportunity for us we create together, we come together to explore each breath, each movement of our bodies, each sensation, each thought, each reflection, and what it is that we're here to do in the moment. What's the mission? What's the celebration for our life expression? And then we could go to seaside and literally give that to the sea, or take from the sea, receive from the sea what life has to give us back. So it's this constant, to me, celebration, give and receive, give and receive. It's not just giving, it's not just receiving. It's the dance that goes both ways. And it's, you know, I was recently talking to one of the wonderful people in the group who are coming, and she said to me, she said, I still don't know what's happening in Tuscany. I just know I'm coming, and everyone who's asking me, and they see me excited, and I said, but that's the best way. That's the best way to come embrace the mystery of it. You fully come with your whole body, your whole sense of being, because if you had an idea, you already put it in a little box, and you're carrying a box with you. I want you to come running like this, like a wild child to the sea. And, you know, a wild child goes into the sea when you watch them. And when you watch them, I'm sure when we get there, they run into the water. They don't hold back. They don't stand there and look and try to figure out, well, is the water going to touch my toes first, or am I going to touch the water? They just run and jump. And, yeah, it's just beautiful.
Oh, let me just read a little bit more about this Italian teacher.
Yes.
I think your infectious desire to embrace people is probably part of the magic which people get attracted to as well. And I think that even when I try to think about, well, what is it that I'm going to be doing there, there's just really a blank space. I know that I'm going to be doing something amazing, but I haven't quite figured out yet what that's going to look like. And I think it's part of the enticement that you give yourself, that you don't pin it down, that it's going to look like this in a particular way, because then, as you say, it stops the creative possibility of something else taking over and showing you that you're actually going to be doing this, and this is going to be absolutely even more fantastic and amazing. So buckle your seatbelt, yeah.
Totally.
Well, this Italian teacher, Cesare Catà, he said, the assignment came about because of the magic of summer. Mm-hmm. I was inspired by the summer itself as a special and magic moment, useful to understand more deeply how much what is studied and apprehended at school is intimately related to the most relevant aspects of our existence. Mm-hmm. So he's talking about something actually which is quite deep, and which, to be able to access that depth, you've got to allow yourself to be completely open and in that space of not knowing what it is that you're going to be exploring. You know, you're not going to cram in your head with facts and figures. He's saying here we're going to explore what life has to offer you. And so he says, I perfectly remember my summers as a student, full of sport, swimming, love affairs, dancing, romances, dreams. The books I read in my past summers enlightened my coming days and gave me a new key to face problems, joys, the person I loved and the ones I hobnobbed with. In that period arose in me a vital interest in literature and art that never dwindled. So he's talking about something which people don't, from my experience, normally talk about in conversation. He's talking about the mysterious, he's talking about the amazing, the wonderful. He's saying, go and immerse yourself in the sunrise and the sunset. Be a part of the living fabric of the growing of nature, and allow yourself to feel the wind caressing your face. And you know, these are the types of things that he's inspiring his students to go and take part in and to find themselves in. But I thought it'd be great if we ourselves created assignments, just as a fun thing, to say, what is it that we remember from last year or can dream about for this year, which gives us pause to stop and to reflect and to suddenly start to feel the beauty start to arise and the magic start to spill over, and you suddenly feel that you're in a different world. You're in the magical place. You're in the inspiring and the inspirational embrace of a world that's always known itself and invites you to be part of its dance, and to be in this endless spiral of unfolding yourself. So what would be one of your perhaps assignments?
Well, you know what? I'm going to I did find my little mask. I'm going to wear it today just because of the mystery element you said. And I think it would help me brainstorm better. So I'm going to put it on. And then I'm going to tell you my first assignment, which last summer when we were at the villa, I didn't find out till after I was back in the United States. And it's interesting, I was not supposed to know till later. There was 5 minutes away walk from the villa. There's an enchanted forest. And I got back to America after the retreat and last summer, and I'm looking at some of the pictures James, for example, had from his own walks. And I said, what is this lush green mossy place? Where did you find it? He said, oh, it was just 5 minute walk down from the villa. And again, I started to laugh at myself. Well, how come I've never stumbled upon it? Because I hadn't ventured that far. I went in every direction I could, but not that direction. So then I thought, it leaves a mystery for this year. What are we going to do? So there are probably several assignments I'm going to set for myself with the forest, but one of them is, let's just explore. Let's take every little step on that path and go into that magical forest, but go prepared to have whimsical conversations with fairies, to feel the nature, to take little rests and lay down or sit down on the moss, to hear the music of the trees moving in the wind, to be part of the magical kingdom of that forest and find out what it wants us to know. That's one of them, right there. So I'm sure you... Go ahead.
You know, when you put on that mask, you completely change the way that you appear. It's like it's like I don't have to imagine a fairy. The fairy is there. The fairy is gleeful, you know.
It's right here.
You're right there. You're right. That piece of you just automatically comes out, and is really just you shows this sense of the gleeful mischief humor that you have, and it just radiates. And I think that is part about when we put on suddenly a different persona, and we become someone different. Something gets unleashed. That part of you becomes more revealed. And I think if there is an assignment that I would set other people, it's about finding ways in which another part of you gets revealed, and you may not know what that other part is, but you allow yourself to be in a place where it presents itself to you, and you allow yourself to become it completely.
Totally. Totally.
So I'm just having a look to see what is something else which I remember from last year. Oh, it was the birds. Yes, it was listening to the birds. The birds seemed to chatter all through the day, into the evening, and even in the night hours. You could still hear that music. So it was like the birds were enjoying something, and you had to listen, and then to be part of what that something was just amazing. And I remember also when Catherine was making her flower essences. It was the ritual of gathering the flowers, and we went off in groups and we picked the flowers, and they all came together in this big bowl, and we did a ceremonial ritualistic blessing, and it was like being part of something amazing and magical. So it's those moments which come upon you unrehearsed and unbidden, but you recognize that they are very powerfully moving, and they're everything stops. Everything allows you to breathe differently.
Yeah, for me it was talking about the ceremonial ritual magic. Last year it was every moment, because we met the horses on the way to to work with the flowers. And then we were with the horses for a little while, and having magical experiences with horses, singing. You're singing to the horse, which created a magical visioning experience for me. And then going to the pool, 10 minutes down the road every day in the afternoon. Every time I jumped into that pool, before I jumped into that pool, there was an alchemy for me with the water. Again, something happened because we entered this body of water, and it looked so. I had pictures before and after when we went into the water, and how the water looked when we were celebrating, and the vibration we brought to all of that. Just people who didn't want to get into the pool because, it was a hot day and they just wanted to be in the shade. They lay down on chairs or on, and under the little shade, space there. And then they were watching, literally the rolling hills of Tuscany, like a postcard, are alive right in front of your, face and your eyes. And just a little past the pool. And it's absolutely dreamy. It's absolutely, how can you get this spot to be more perfect? There's no such thing. This is most perfect spot to be in the afternoon while you're here. And even through the camera, I'm looking at some of the pictures, and I'm seeing the pool here and the hills here, and it's just, it literally, you feel intoxicated. For me, it's this natural intoxication of joy and bliss that happens when you are so happy within yourself and with your surroundings. Not just because the surroundings are beautiful, but because you're partaking and you're creating it. They didn't just show up. You've been a big part in making this appear. And that's, we're looking at all of that in a deeper way.
And I'm just reminded then of when we first went down to the pool, and Krista looked at the water, and she jumped in fully clothed without waiting to put on her hat, which you're supposed to do, because it was so enticing.
Yeah. And that's what a child will do. Think about, again, exploring the magicality of the inner child. So an inner child any child doesn't just look at the water and says, well, I'm feeling a little scared right now because, I forgot my swimming suit, or maybe I need to put this thing on my head because this is, what they told me. Or no, they just see the beauty, and they want to partake with their whole being. Again, there's that wildness of the heart, and jump right in. Who says you can't?
The wild, untamed beauty. So that's going to be one of your assignments, I can tell, to have people be wild and untamed.
Yeah. And quite a few of them are asking for that experience, and I'm more than happy to facilitate and be that, because that's a big part of my work. And for myself and for others, I can't help it. It's part of who I am. I just play. I have to play with what is there. And be resourceful. So I will play.
So, for those who are still wanting to go to Tuscany, haven't yet booked their flight, better be quick. This is what you can expect. Excitement, magicalness, enchantment, whatever it is that you're looking for, it's going to be there in Tuscany.
And may I add that one of the assignments I'd like them to think ahead is how they can weave magic with words, because you will be there to facilitate a lot of that. Part of the genius writing piece that a lot of your teleclasses this past year have been about the genius writer, and so and Merlin and the magical presence and everything, about that rebirthing ourselves through words, and the choice of words, and the sheer joy of writing, which I really love as well through my poetry. So whether it's poetry format or just creative writing or prose or nonfiction, whatever it is, whatever format is coming through, get ready to explore yourself and your own magic through writing, because it's going to be a living embodiment. All of us, including you, will be exploring it. So
I think we've said what we need to say about Tuscany, and what people can expect, and who knows what else will happen.
Exactly. I know a couple of other things I won't mention now. I want them to be mystery that will be happening. At least a couple extra new things. So.
But you won't tell us just yet.
Not just yet.
Right. Stay tuned. Well, that's it from us for the moment. The Quantum Creativity Show will be back on the air after Tuscany.
Okay. And I want to say, whether you're coming to Tuscany or not, just celebrate this type of magic every day, because that's what it's all about. Breathe it in. You are it already. You don't have to wait for a special recipe or a special ritual or ceremony to happen. You are the weaving of the magic itself. So thank you for tuning in into our quantum creativity conversation today.
Yes. See you next time. Goodbye for now.
See you next time. Bye.